All right, we're just 2 days away from Commander Masters officially being released widespread, and there's obviously been a ton of conversation about this set in the past month and a half. People are mad, people are happy, people are buying it, people aren't. We've gone over pretty much everything there is to go over in terms of the ins and outs of the set, and is it morally good, and is it a price gouge, and all of that. So, yeah, we're not going to dive into that anymore today. What we are going to talk about today is TCGPlayer posted an article talking about the top 10 best pre-selling cards for the set. And as we prepare to see where prices are going to settle and kind of look into this, I thought it'd be cool to take a look at that article and just kind of see what's selling the best and what the highest selling cards are, where people are putting their money, and what that might mean for, the prices of singles. So let's jump into the video. Alrighty, yes, I know, we've done a lot of Commander Masters content, and I am honestly at a point where I'm kind of ready to move on a little bit to some different content and talk about other stuff. But this is obviously a hot item. It's a big set with a lot of reprints that does a lot for the format, so, I've been trying to cover it as much as I could, and after Friday, where, when it releases, we got a live stream. We're going to go live on Friday, take a look at all the prices. Now, once the competition is up, I'm going to be ordering some stuff live, kind of talking about my rationale behind stuff. I had posted a poll and asked people, overwhelmingly voted saying they'd be interested in seeing that, so that's where we are. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of take a look at the top 10 best-selling cards from TCGPlayer for this set. And, of course, this is all pre-order data, but they have, a better sense of it than anyone. So yeah, let's just kind of jump into it, and we'll go as we go along. We'll see what we think. So start us off with number 10. Maelstrom Wanderer is a very popular card. It is a very popular commander. It's not exactly the craziest card in terms of innovation, but it's very good. It has double cascade and is a very popular card that gives all creatures you control haste. This is a pretty highly selling card, especially the borderless version based on what they said, but it also does come in a regular and foil etched in the set. I do think it's going to end up being pretty affordable. It's around $5 right now. It'll probably drop a couple more dollars. But, there is always potential for future increases if the demand is high enough. So it's just something to keep an eye on. But I'm not shocked by this because it is just a generically really good commander and basically, plays into the ramp and cascade strategy. Number 9. Kozilek the Great Distortion. This is actually a little surprising to me that this is this high on the list, but I guess, it is a really, really popular option for a colorless commander, and it is obviously one of the Eldrazi Titans, so it has that going for it. It's a very powerful card. It just was not very expensive at all, with the Oath of the Gatewatch version being like $10. The new version of this is like $3, and the interesting thing about it is that it's both in the Eldrazi Precon and in the main set, so there's technically two, I don't want to say printings, but two, ways to get it. People are buying it up like crazy, and I have to say, I don't think it's the worst thing, because it's definitely a card that, just will do well over time. I don't think it's going to go up exponentially, but, if it's 3 and goes back up to 10, that's still a decent, pickup value for a card that's probably going to have some use for you somewhere down the line. So again, this one I expect people to sell. I know the borderless version is kind of hit or miss in terms of its art style, but I think the regular version should be pretty accessible, and you see a lot of people kind of putting their money where their mouth is and going after it. Number 8. Jeweled Lotus Borderless. Now, probably because of the price of this card, it's not higher up on the list. I think a lot of people are buying these cards, but they're not selling in quantities as much as some of the other things. But this is a beautiful card. It's about $100, give or take, right now, though I do think it might come down a bit. The foil's going for a little bit more, and then, the textured foil's just in another realm entirely. But I'm not surprised to see people really going after Jeweled Lotus. It's just one of the best cards in Commander, period. And it just, the frame break version of this looks awesome. Being able to get your commander out, this is appealing to casual players and CEDH players, so there's multiple, quote-unquote markets for it. I don't think we're going to see a massive drop of any kind on the extended arts of this, especially not as it comes to the foil, but we'll have to see, because it's still, it's still very possible that the price ends up, leveling out a little bit after the set's initial hype kind of wears off. Number 7, the Dragon. This one, again, we've talked about ad nauseum. Very popular commander, arguably one of the best dragon commanders in general, and maybe just one of the best commanders overall. Just was not easy to get with only the deck print and a secret lair. He's around $35 right now for pre-sales. He's sold a little cheaper on Card Kingdom, but they're sold out. of pre-sales at this moment. We'll see what it looks like when he actually goes up. Again, he does have some other versions, and his borderless profile version is pretty similar in price to his regular version, so there is that. But we'll have to see. Again, I've said that, a lot, because there is a lot of interesting stuff to watch that's going to come out of this, see where everything ends up. But Dragon right now selling very, very hotly, and I'm not surprised. People like dragons, people like that deck. And just even if you're playing a budget deck, if you can afford the Dragon, you can put in some more budget dragon options and still have a deck that can play and dominate pretty well at your tables. Pathrazer of Ulamog at number 6. This one's very surprising to me because it's just an uncommon. However, TCGPlayer pointed out in their article, this actually was not included in the precon. So while it is in the set as an uncommon, there is no alternative way of getting it in the precon. And as a result, this card's around $3 or so. People have just been picking it up because the Eldrazi deck is very, very popular. I think everyone is kind of going after it, trying to get their hands on stuff. And this, is no exception, especially being a good card with, Annihilator and basically a more advanced version of Menace. Not what you'd expect to see on a top 10, but being that it's relatively inexpensive and just an uncommon that's going to be a good card to include, it's not super shocking that this card is getting a lot of attention. Number 5, Sol Ring. This is one of my favorite arts in the entire set. I'm definitely going to be getting one. Around $5 right now. It is definitely dropping. There were people buying it for like 20 during pre-sale, periods when we weren't this close to the set release. It's a really, really good card, obviously, and it's pretty much a staple in everything in Commander, but it's just got a really cool art, and a lot of times getting variants of Sol Ring, they end up being, just more pricey than your regular common copy. I think over time you'll see the same thing happen with this one, but I do think this is a pretty good card to get early, and hopefully, if it hits that $4 mark, we could be looking at a really solid, really solid option for people to want to pick this up. Before we move on to number 4, I just want to let you guys know that you can subscribe to the channel by clicking the like button and click subscribe. If you want to stay notified, click the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever new videos are posted. And now that the month of August is officially here, if you haven't joined our channel membership yet and you're interested in doing so, it is only $5 per month. You get all kinds of perks like badges, voting on videos, plus monthly giveaways. For the month of August, though, all channel members will receive a booster pack of Magic the Gathering. You can check the description for full details on that, but if you want to join, you can click the join button down in the description or on the YouTube video panel if you're on mobile, and join. You'll be able to. As long as you're a member in August, you'll be eligible for that free booster pack, so check it out. All right, number 4 is Felwearstone. Very surprising, but also a very good card. Just a good mana rock in general. This has an incredibly cool alternate artwork that I just love, and, that's only a couple bucks, which is just, another reason people are probably going after it. This card's finally, budget-friendly, but it's also, been relatively inexpensive for a bit as they continue to reprint it with all these upcoming precons. I really, really like the borderless version of this, and I'm not surprised by it. It's just a really good mana rock that I think you'd be silly not to make use of if you have it. I do think value-wise, we'll see the borderless end up being pretty high up. Number 3, Fierce Guardianship. Again, not surprising. I am happy to see this card's price continue to go down, though. It's around $33 for the borderless version. We'll probably hit about 30 total, maybe less. I mean, I'm happy if it's less. But this is a really popular card, arguably just one of the best generic Commander cards in general. Now that it's more affordable, it's kind of a, must play if you have access to it. And so seeing people go after this, specifically the borderless, it's pretty darn close to the regular one in terms of price. And I think overall, borderless ends up aging better in most cases. But I'm not surprised to see people going after this. It's a really, really good card. And I think, you'll see some of the other, free cast spells end up being pretty high up, on this list as the set actually comes out and you see what people are putting their money into. Number 2, Reliquary Tower. This is another card that just gets reprinted time and time again and just doesn't really drop enough to ever be super cheap, but it's not crazy expensive. This borderless version's around $2, not bad at all. I would highly recommend it. At this point, though, I think, just wait and see what it's at on release. If you're this close to it, you might as well just wait because you'll probably be able to get a better deal. Thing is, if this is a $2 card, $1.75, you're going to see a lot of people going after this once pre-orders start to actually lift and you could start buying and listing at whatever competitive prices. I would expect the sales rates on this card to be astronomically high given its art style, given its playability, and given the fact that this is probably the cheapest that it's been for a while. Finally, number 1, Deadly Relic, which I didn't expect, actually, before I started looking at this article, but I guess it does kind of make sense. This card is certainly cheaper than Fierce Guardianship, about 50% cheaper almost, so it makes sense people are kind of going after it. A free cast card that just allows you to exile a creature if you control your commander. Extremely good, extremely powerful. This was on the lower end of pricing. It was like 35 before a reprint announcement, but it's got some cool artwork. I think, you know, black is certainly a really popular color for commander, and this is easily, you know, one of the better cards you can include there. Just being more affordable. It's the highest pre-selling card right now in terms of quantity sold. Not the most shocking, but also just a good card to keep an eye on. And I think, again, that, you know, we could really see this card pushed down to like 10 to 12 bucks, at which point, you know, it's basically a must play, in my opinion, in terms of like picking up and grabbing. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the top 10 best pre-selling cards on TCGPlayer. Obviously, these numbers and sales rates are going to go through the roof over the next couple of days, so it'll be really, really interesting to see what happens when the pre-order period is over, and we will be covering it live on Friday at 11:30 Eastern Time if you guys want to check it out, and I'll be letting you know what I'm buying, what I'm thinking, and kind of where we see the direction of the set going. I know the set is not perfect, but I'm trying to view it with some optimism and just kind of keep a positive approach towards it, so let me know what you guys think of everything here, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.